York Yankees have swept the Tampa Bay Rays and are now 47-16. Just absolutely absurd. They have won 14 straight home games. That's right, 14 straight home games. They have won 14 out of 15 overall. And they have won 7 straight as well. So there's a bunch of statistics that we could go with, but it really is crazy. There's not a whole lot, it's hard to describe because this Yankee team, like we're starting to see, it's a special club. It really is. And there's a lot of season to go, and there's a lot of, boxes to check, but it's been crazy. It really has. The Yankees, they find different ways to win. It's a different hero every night. And what's crazy is that, the 1998 Yankees, they were also 47-16 through 63 games. Just the records and just the graphics that you're seeing on your TV screen or wherever the case might be, it's just crazy. And the Yanks, at this point, like they just don't give up runs. That's the biggest thing for me. Like the Yankees, they just do not allow runs. It's, by a wide margin too. Like, for a while the Dodgers were a team that also didn't allow runs, but the Yankees, like, this is the least amount of the runs the Yankees have ever allowed in their franchise history through 63 games. And the game evolves and changes. Don't get me wrong, but just the fact that it's even to this level is nuts. And Game 3 is a great example where Luis Severino was out due to COVID protocols. And so the Yankees go with Clark Schmidt, Ryan Weber, yes, like did not expect to say that name, Ron Marinaccio, and Michael King. That's normal. And they give up one run. It's just like that. And I know that the Rays lineup is not an imposing one, but what you realize is like there aren't that many great offensive ball clubs. That's just the thing. But I don't think the Yankees really fear anyone who's on their schedule. And the Yankees are now 10 games ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays. 10 games up with, in mid-June. It's nuts. And to be 31 games above 500 when you have a little less than half the league, they don't even have 30 wins at all, right? So half the league, they're thereabouts, doesn't even have 30 wins. The Yankees have 31 more wins than losses. Like, we're just getting into crazy territory right now. And I'm enjoying every moment of it. Like, you have to, understanding that the big prize at the end is everything. But you got to kind of, take it in and enjoy the ride as well. And it's nice to not have stressful ball games where, the last couple of seasons, definitely last season, every game felt extremely important. When you dig yourself a bit of a hole and you have, you're in these divisional races and wild card races, like every game is important. These games, it's more fun watching. It is, and you always feel like the Yankees, it doesn't matter how much they're down, they can come back. When they have a lead, you feel really good that they're going to protect it. It's pretty amazing to watch. And to sweep the Tampa Bay Rays, that feels good. After the Yankees split with Tampa at the Trop in a situation where the Yankees took the first 2 and they couldn't really quite seal the deal, Tampa won the next 2. Here, they just took care of business. They swept them. And that's great. And this is a great start to what's a very interesting couple of weeks. Because now the Yankees go to Toronto, then they go to Tampa to face the Rays again, and then they come home to face the Houston Astros. That might be the most interesting of it all, that 4-game series. So, again, the Yankee pitching, that is the main thing, but also coming through in the clutch. The Yankees now have 8 walk-off wins already. This is reminiscent to the 2009 Yankees. The 2009 Yankees, with the whole, the pies with A.J. Burnett, and I guess Nick Swisher might have been involved with that as well. I think Burnett was the main one. But, where the Yankees would just walk off routinely, that's happening again. So, Yankees are in rarefied air. Like, this is, we've seen really good Yankee seasons. Like, as a Yankee fan, you're lucky to have seen, a good amount of 100-win seasons and This one right here is something special. I just have to say, and I don't think that the Yankees will ultimately like break the wins record or anything like that. I don't believe they will, but you're looking at a team that should absolutely win at least 100 games, if not a lot more than that. You're looking at like 100 to 110 wins, assuming things stay somewhat normal. So it's been amazing. So as far as this Rays Yank series, game one would be a rematch of Cory Kluber versus Garrett Cole, a game in which the Rays had won at the Trop in game three of that 4-game set. And Cole pitched well in that game, and Kluber did as well. And this is another case where Cole and Kluber, they combined for no earned runs allowed. Here's the key thing about the Tampa Bay Rays and why I'm not impressed by them. Their defense is really, really shaky. They were known for great defense. They're not good in the field anymore. At least not currently. So I look at this Tampa Bay Rays team, and I've respected them, and I will continue to respect them. But I look at this division, and if I'm being honest, I guess the Blue Jays are probably the biggest threat, just when you look at the pure talent on that roster. What the Blue Jays don't have, though, is what the Rays and Red Sox do, and that's a little bit more experience, in the playoffs and sort of having that more longer-term success deeper into October. Toronto doesn't have that. But if I just look at the roster, the Blue Jays roster to me is the most challenging. But here we are. The Yankees are 6-3 versus Toronto, and what will be an interesting series, coming up here against the Blue Jays. But Kluber versus Cole was a really good pitcher's duel. As far as rest roulette was concerned, this was a game where Josh Donaldson served that 1-game suspension from the Tim Anderson incident. And so Matt Carpenter, coming off of his really good game against the Cubs, he was in for that reason. It wasn't a great night for Carpenter. And so any chance that he would have found his way into some starting time kind of evaporates with that outing for Carpenter. But the odd man out was Aaron Hicks. So it kind of feels like against the righties, Hicks sits. Against the lefties, Gallo sits. But then also you will every now and then between Glaber, LeMahieu, and Donaldson, they will also sit as well. And then, of course, when you throw in the odd sort of off day, which is rare at this point, Stanton, Judge, and Rizzo, really the main core of your lineup, like they don't really get many off days, and I like that, and they look good. Obviously Stanton had that short injury spell, but he's looked pretty solid since coming back. So this was a game where there's 1 inning of scoring. That's it, and it would be the 4th inning, and in the 4th, it would be the Rays having defensive issues, a 1-out walk by Stanton against Kluber, and then Glaber Torres, it's a fly ball to Manny Margot. Kind of a close, fair, foul situation, and Margot just drops it. Just flat out drops the ball. And so Glaber reaches, and it's first and second, 1 out. Then Carpenter strikes out, and then the big hit of the game, and he had a big game in the field as well on this night. It was Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with an RBI single. And not only would that score 1 run, it would score 2, as the Randy Arozarena throw was just awful. So really good heads-up base running by Glaber Torres. He ends up scoring from first base on this play. Glaber, I like his aggressiveness on the base paths. Like we've seen this recently. We saw that early in his Yankee career. But Glaber, good heads-up running, gives the Yankees a key 2-0 lead right there. So Garrett Cole gets into a bit of a trouble in the 5th and the 6th. In the 5th, it's first and second, no outs. He gets Paredes to fly out, Mejia to strike out looking, and then Taylor Walls to ground out. Then in the 6th, gets into more trouble. It's a Yandy Diaz single, and then a really key play, where Garrett Cole makes a little bit of an errant throw, and Glaber Torres is just barely able to keep his spike on the base. This was originally ruled safe, but a good review by the Yanks, and they overturn it to out. Really nice job by Glaber in that situation. But then Manny Margot singles. So it's first and second, 1 out. And this is where it gets interesting, because Ji-Man Choi has done really well in his career against Garrett Cole. Ji-Man Choi singles, but Kiner-Falefa does a really good job of keeping it in the infield. If that goes through, who knows where this inning leads. So it stays bases loaded, and then Cole makes the key pitch to Randy Arozarena. and Arozarena grounds into a double play, 6-4-3, and Cole is out of it, and he goes 6 scoreless. So a good bounce back outing after Cole really struggled against the Twins. He comes through there. So Wandy Peralta comes on to start the 7th. He gets a couple of outs, also gives up a single, and so he's taken out of the game, and Michael King comes on, and King is able to get Taylor Walls to line out to Stanton and Wright. So it stays 2-0. We go to the 8th, and Michael King would finish that 8th inning as he gets a couple of strikeouts. There was a walk mixed in, and then he gets G-Man short of ground out to end the inning. So a nice job by Michael King getting those 4 outs. In the 9th inning, Clay Holmes comes on, gets a couple of early strikeouts, and then he gets into a little bit of trouble as Brett Phillips singles to keep it alive. And then Francisco Mejia really gets into left center. But Aaron Judge in center field, who's been, as we know, great at the plate, but really good, is now he's the Yankee center fielder. Like, he is the Yankee center field. He makes a great diving catch to win the game. And the Yankees shut out the Rays and win it 2-0. So a key hit by Connor Falefa. Cole gets it done, as well as Peralta, King, and Holmes. And there's your ball game. So the Yankees win the first one by a score of 2-0. We go to game 2. And game 2 would feature 2 of the best lefties in the game, certainly in 2022, Shane McClanahan and Nestor Cortez. And game 2 would see, again, that rest roulette sort of thing. Joey Gallo sees the bench against the lefty. So, and also keep in mind, Kyle Higashioka would be in versus the lefty. So I think Higgy's good day on Sunday versus the Cubs, I think, helped him out. I think he was starting to maybe lose a little bit of a grip there. But I think it's going to continue where Trevino against righties, Higgy versus lefties, and it actually ends up paying off. The Yanks get on the board in the first inning, and it's Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge hits his 25th home run of the season, opposite field homer off McClanahan, and it makes it 1-0 Yanks. We head to the bottom of the 5th, and the Yankees would tack on in a big way. And it would be, that bad defense again hurting the Tampa Bay Rays. It's Josh Donaldson reaching on an error by Brett Phillips in center. And so he gets the second. This was a play that Phillips should have made. Him and Margot almost converged, and Phillips dropped the ball. Then Gleyber Torres flies out. Donaldson moves to third. So it's run on third, 1 out, and Aaron Hicks strikes out swinging. So Aaron Hicks, again, for me, it's rough with Hicks and Gallo. Like, it's amazing the Yankees have been so good with those 2 guys just being awful as far as I'm concerned. But Hicks strikes out. And then McClanahan walks Connor Falefa, which you would think would be a good decision. But Kyle Higashioka, who we've seen hit home runs in bunches, hits a really, really big 3-run homer. Higgy, his 3rd home run after he had 2 on Sunday, gives the Yankees a big 4-0 lead. But then things do get a little bit interesting in the 6th as Nestor Cortez gives up a leadoff ground rule double to Yandy Diaz. Then there's a weird fielding error where Higgy throws it back to Nestor Cortez. He catches the ball, but then it goes off of his head, and good alert base running by Diaz to get to third. After a pop-out by Harold Ramirez, it's an RBI double by Manny Margot, makes it 4-1, and then Randy Arozarena walks on 4 pitches. And so that's it for Nestor. Nestor, who really was doing very well through 5, kind of lost it in the 6th. But Wandy Peralta comes on, and he's able to get Paredes to ground out. And then Pinto strikes out. So really nice job by Wandy to hold it right there at 4-1. And then in the 7th, Peralta pitches a 1-2-3 7th inning with a couple of strikeouts. So Wandy with 5 key outs. And then we go to the 8th. And the 8th is when things, get really weird. As Miguel Castro comes on, and Castro's erratic. It can kind of come and go at any point. He gets 2 quick outs, but then it's a 2-out double for Manny Margot. And then it is a hit by pitch to Randy Arozarena. So Castro at this point's out of the game. And there was a mound visit. G-Man Choi is announced as a pinch hitter. Matt Blake had come out to check with Castro, and then once Choi is announced, the Yankees want to bring in Licky, and it was a really bad job by the umps, where I guess they were unsure whether to grant the Yankees this move. Eventually, after fucking 20 minutes, it was a bad look for the umps to not know the rules. And as they should have, Licky was allowed to come in, but then, it got interesting. And Licky gives up an RBI single to G-Man Choi. And then Pinto gets an RBI single, a little blue pit to make it 4-3. Luckily, Licky is able to get Brett Phillips to, Phillips flies out, and so it stays 4-3. We head to the ninth, and Clay Holmes comes on, and Holmes gives up a leadoff. It was called an infield single to Taylor Walls. Rizzo should have made the play, but they ruled a single, and then Holmes is able to get Brujan to ground out. Yandy Diaz strikes out looking, and then Mejia, the pinch hitter, who the night before had a really nice shot where Judge made the catch, Mejia grounds out. And so Clay Holmes gets another save. He's now up to 30 straight scoreless innings. Just stupid stuff. Clay Holmes has been the best reliever in all of baseball. His ERA is now at just a minuscule 0.29 on the season. Like, you just don't see things like that. And so the Yankees hold on to win that 1-4-3. We head to the final game. The Yankees looking for the sweep. Like I said, I previewed a little bit where Severino was out due to COVID, and so Clark Schmidt gets the start. And Schmidt did a really great job. Really good job. And for the Rays, it was a bit of a makeshift game as well. A bullpen game for the Rays, even more so, as Rasmussen was placed on the IL with an injury. So the Rays ended up going with 7 pitchers. So the Yankees only going with 4. So the Yanks really did a very good job here. And as far as the sit, it would be Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres was all, he would pinch hit, but Gleyber Torres not in the lineup as Stanton gets a DH day. So let's just jump. I mean, the first 3 innings, great job by Clark Schmidt. 3 innings of 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 strikeout ball for Clark. Like I said, I've been very impressed by him this year. Who really surprised me in a good way was Ryan Weber, the former Red Sox, very soft-throwing pitcher, ends up going 3 2/3 and gives up 1 run. The one mistake comes in the 5th where Francisco Mejia, who, was one of the better Rays hitters this series, hits a home run and makes it 1-0 Rays. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and good job by Weber within this. But it's a 2-out rally for the Yankees, and maybe it was a situation where Kevin Cash overdid it, where Brooks Raley was pitching really well, but he brings in the righty Ryan Thompson, who has struggled this season, to face DJ LeMahieu, and LeMahieu has not been that great. So, if I'm the Rays, and again, it's a second guess, but probably should have left Raley in. LeMahieu walks, Judge walks, and then Anthony Rizzo ends up being the story of this game. Anthony Rizzo with a game-tying line drive RBI single, and it's 1-1. It's a 1-1 game. In the 7th, it would be Weber to start, gets 2 outs, and then Ron Marinaccio comes on and gets the final out of the inning. Ron Marinaccio also pitches a 1-2-3/8, so Marinaccio has looked good, except for a couple of hiccups, one against the Rays, in fact. I think he's looked very well. So that depth pitching for the Yankees is also really stepping up. In the 9th inning, Michael King does what he does, gets a couple of strikeouts. He does walk G-Man Choi, but then Yandy Diaz lines out, and a really nice catch by Marwin Gonzalez, who came in the game after Joey Gallo was pinch hit for. Torres pinch hits for Gallo. Gonzalez comes into play right field, and a really nice play by Marwin. So we head to the bottom of the 9th. Sean Armstrong comes on, and with 1 out, Anthony Rizzo hits a walk-off home run. It's his 16th home run of the season. That's pretty good for Anthony Rizzo, whose power hadn't quite been there in recent years with the Cubs. It's back with the Yankees. And so Anthony Rizzo is the hero. Your 8th walk-off of the season for the Yanks. Nice to see Rizzo getting the act. Just really good stuff. And like I said, the Yankees improve to 47-16, 14 straight wins at home, and it's just amazing. So now the Yankees head to Toronto. And before I give the pitching matchups, keep in mind that Severino could throw off the pitching probables if we assume that they just don't use Severino. Let's just assume that for a second. Here are the pitching probables. It's Jordan Montgomery versus Ross Stripling. And for me, that one could really go either way. I wouldn't give us an edge there so much so. Game 2, it's Jameson Taillon versus Alek Manoah. And that's a matchup that I think we've actually seen before where Taillon has won. With that being said, Alek Manoah has been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball and has given the Yankees problems. So I got to give Toronto the edge in that matchup. And then Game 3, it is Garrett Cole versus Yusei Kikuchi. Now, Kikuchi has given the Yankees problems this season a little bit, but I give the Yankees the edge in this one. If Cole, is pitching like he normally does, you got to like the Yankees here. So, to kind of handicap it, which is really somewhat pointless, but I like to do it. Game 2, edge Toronto. Game 3, edge Yankees. Game 1, kind of a toss-up. So for me, the hope is the Yankees can win 2 out of 3. I'll be very happy if the Yankees can win 2 out of 3 at the Blue Jays. They're not going to win every game, and certainly not, to expect to go into Toronto and sweep them. That if I come back next episode and the Yankees are 50-16, like I don't even know what to say. But I will be very content with just winning the series, taking 2 out of 3. And really, you just don't want to get swept. You have a 10-game lead in Toronto. You just don't want to get swept. That's the main key. But the Yankees just keep on winning. This is really, I keep on using the word crazy and ridiculous, but it is. And I'm just enjoying every moment of it. So, Yanks sweep the Rays, continue their winning ways, specifically at home. But now they will head on the road to face the Blue Jays and the Rays before heading back to the stadium to take on the Astros.